Welcome back to the Final Fantasy XIV experiment. I am back with Sonya Sidesash on the Onion Pope FFXIV YouTube channel. We are well on our way to make it to Sastasha today. So we are going to start with just this side quest right here. We have some levs to do, a couple more side quests, and then we should be able to make it into the Hall of the Novice and to Sastasha. Where's Rohanth? I told that barnacle the engineers were letting us take the new cannon out for a test. The 12 know when the mood will strike, those hugger-muggers. Probably over at the crypt again. Morbid, I call it. Like a good wallow or two now and then. But he broods on dead folk he didn't even know. You go fetch Rohanth. I'd be liable to profane the Lich Yard by beating him about his thick head with that big stone hourglass. I'd be liable to profane the Lich Yard by beating him about his thick head with that big stone hourglass. Okay. Ah, there I go again, blaspheming the Keeper. Not that I cared much for Ponzi. That's probably another bit of abominating. Here, take these flowers. Rohanth's at the Founder's Crypt. Give him the pretties for the dead. That'll clear my slate with the gods. Oh! I've been got. Rest in the peace of the 12, our gamer. Yeah, that was his name, for sure. Ah, you bring flowers. Come, no need to be shy, there's plenty of space. Small in life, he who sleeps here is large in death. You'd never know there was a hamlet here, would you? Halfstone, it was called. Built on the sweat of near 10 score brows, and put to the Sahagins' torch. The settlers fought, aye, and how, with not a trained soldier among them. Our gamer was one of those, a farmer by trade. He stayed behind to cover the final retreat, asking for as many arrows as could be spared. Then he took off his boots and gave them to another, saying it wasn't far where he was going. And here he lies now. Time was, I'd be hard-pressed to imagine doing what he did. You don't hold fast to much in a privateer's life. No pirate captain's going down with her ship, and any captain who looks to loyalty more than gold is liable to have his throat slit. But now I gotta be better than that, don't I? I gotta be more like our gamer. An adventurer, are you? Seems a shame for you to come all the way out here without more to show for it. How about a bit of Vileken hunting? There's a few killer mantises about on account of hatching we'd missed. The commander sent out hunting parties and collected 10 and 6 heads. There's more than 20 in a clutch. Think you can handle the last 4? I sure can. I killed one earlier, and it's going to take a minute to respawn, so I will kill these in the meantime. Nasty critters, those killer mantises. I'm sure our gamer wouldn't have wanted anyone dying near his resting place. Good hunting, adventurer. See the birds to their nests. It's time I return to the gate. Elder Loaf said we'd be testing a new cannon. Like to blow himself to bits without me about. You can collect your pay from Commander Folkbreed at Camp Skull Valley. Be well, adventurer. The 12 go with you. Ah, Sonia, you've become a familiar face about these parts. What brings you here today? The rest of the killer mantises? Well done, and I must commend Sergeant Rohan for his quick thinking. You have the thanks of this camp. Sometimes I fear that we'll lose the war against the Sahagin for having to deal with pests and beasts. I hear you're leaving us, Sonia. News travels fast in an encampment. Mayhap you can assist us one last time on your journey out. I have a dispatch here from Maelstrom Command, from Commodore Rayner of the Yellow Jackets. We've been investigating the Sestasha Seagrot on their orders, but it seems they've taken on an individual of excellent repute and puissant manner, Commodore writes, to complete the work. Now if you... Yes? Ah, this is you he speaks of? Well, of course. Camp Skull Valley would be glad to add to the burnish of your repute. You've carried out your commissions admirably well. Commodore Rayner and many others in the command are of the same mind as I, that we have spread our forces too thin with these tasks. I'm all too happy to withdraw our men from the caves, truth be told. Chief Sergeant Kat Gustel is the ranking officer at the Sestasha Seagrot. Locate him and tell him that his mission is complete, and he's ordered to report back to Skull Valley. I'm going to take a little pause from recording. I'll be back in probably a couple of hours, maybe tomorrow, but I will be back soon. To myself. This is the beginning of the video for you guys, but I took a break of more than be back tomorrow. So, I'm just getting reacquainted here as we head back into what we're doing. It looks like I have some stuff to do, so I'll head up to Beasts of Bourbon and work clockwise like we usually do. This musical montage to tell you that that was the worst Lev quest I've ever done. I think I hated that the most out of anything that I've done in this game so far. Okay, thank you. Back to the montage. Suppose you're here looking for some Levs. We'll take your pick, but be quick about it. I haven't all day. Let's collect some rewards. Hey, level up! Alright. Any more? Oh, good. 2 more. Right, we'll accept that and accept that, but these 2 we've already done, thank God. And we'll turn in the rest of these while we're out here. Now, I believe I had a southern voice for this guy, but I can't remember. I heard from Rakanta you went looking for the starved pup in Quarterstone. Did you have any luck? Ah, so this is the pup Rakanta has been hiding. Well done. She was here not long ago, as a matter of fact. It seems she's willing to cooperate with the authorities and help set things right. But that's not all, friend. While you were searching for this pup, a group of pirates related to the investigation was taken into custody. We couldn't have done it without your help.
The ringleader is yet to be found, but perhaps now Aleport can enjoy a moment of respite. All that remains is what to do with this pup. He seems to have taken a liking to you. Perhaps it'd be best if you looked after him. There's simply no room for him at headquarters, and letting him wander about on his own is out of the question. I realize how sudden this is, but please give him a good home. That dog is a stuffed animal. Okay, I'm gonna go up the ramp where this guy Resh is going, and get this other quest turned in. Oh, he's pretty stylish for having only being level 19. Well, Slade, or do I mean slain? I shall need to know these things if I'm to be officer. I've got the powder and the ball loaded and primed. Now for the slow march. Hark! A dispatch. Stand down forthwith? Not again. But surely these adamantoises are clear and present. Hedgemoles? You're certain? Well, but that's like an adamantoise, except weak and not at all dangerous. Why, oh why, perhaps I've been cursed by some enemy, not very likely for a mere storm private, second class or no. Now the commander will dock my pay and leave my whistle dry as dust. Well, my lady most gallant, it is called Aleport. I've spent a deal of time admiring the undersides of many a tavern table, I can tell you that. What? Could be that my humours are out of balance from a surfeit of ale? And thus, I see it now, there's excess blood which has overfed my martial zeal. Sonia, your learned ways have shown me the light. Much thanks. I go now to receive a leeching. And those pants are actually better than what I'm wearing. I will take them. Oh, she's got another quest for me. Just what I wanted to hear as I try to force feed our way into Sastasha. Alright, come on. Greetings, Sonia. Will you deliver this in my stead to Camp Skull Valley? It's, my report to Commander Falkbreda. I was as plain-spoken as I could be, and I was going to report in person, but for some reason I've barely the strength to visit the barber for leechings, let alone make the trip to Skull Valley. I don't suppose I'd be spared a dock and pay. You don't think they'd clap me in the brig, do you? Tell me why my brain went into that accent for no reason. Alright, I'm gonna run up to I hereby relieve you, then do a glamorous life, field testing, and turn in walk of shame, because apparently I have decided to go backwards now. Halt, adventurer! Do you mean to enter the Sastasha Sea Grot? I would advise against it. You'll likely perish in its labyrinthine depth. Trust me, were it not for my sheer strength of will, I'd not be standing here. What am I doing out here, you ask? This is a comely spot for strategizing, I find. Far better than the labyrinthine depth of the cave, friend. And there none shall hear you scream, particularly since everybody else has been reassigned. Me as well, you say? Back to Camp Skull Valley and away from the labyrinthine depth of that hellhole? Most excellent. I have my principles and would willingly sacrifice my life for the mission, but I'm not grieved to cede that prospect to you. And bid this grot good day. My place is at a fort on the battlefield, not crawling around in a dank cave with coils of rope and sheaves of paper, fearing I shall never see daylight again. I warn you, friend, there's much danger in those depths. It is, what is the word? Labyrinthine, I tell you. Very funny, very funny. Alright, let me get a glamorous life done. That should be right about here. promising young woman. Okay. Ah, an adventurer, and one whose name rings a bell. You've been of service to the Maelstrom, I hear. What brings you to Skull Valley? A report from Private Sonairo. It does her little credit that she did not make the trip herself. Stay while I peruse this. She does not prevaricate, at least that one. Unfortunate how she's gone to rack and ruin since she was posted to Aleport. She was among the first in her shoal to be promoted to second class, yet now... Do you know what a soldier's greatest enemy is, Sonia? Boredom. I suspect Sonairo has played the craven in fighting this foe. I shall order the paymaster to dock her pay, but I'll not sign a censure. She can stay out of the taverns and learn to keep herself busy. She may yet earn her salt. Of course there's more. Of course there's another one. Of course there's another one. It's fine. Everything's fine. I wanted to do this challenge. Tarry a while, Sonia. 'Twill not be said that an adventurer came to Camp Skull Valley and left without honest pay for honest work. We have a problem that other encampments we well find enviable. The dodos are plentiful. All right. Oh, I'm so excited. I've always wanted to dispatch dodos. It's my favorite thing. I don't even know where this is. I'm going crazy. It's like behind. Is it behind? I don't want to do this. Falkbrita, please. Is it back here? What does that even mean? Remove the dodos. It's up on top of them. Swiftly done. They do say that where a soldier dallies, an adventurer hurries. Peaceful as it may seem now, this encampment was built to ward against the kobolds of Ogamoro to the north. We do not forget our purpose. You only need to look to our name. The valley floor was once lined with skulls of kobolds we slew, so that no invader might reach its southern mouth and the settlements beyond without treading on death with every step. Nowadays, it seems we're in danger of treading on dodo eggs every turn, or on the adders that feast on them. The dodos brought by settlers now run feral and keep us in meat, eggs, and headaches. Alright, let's do an item comparison. That's not better. What about that one? Not quite better. Direct hit rate. Oh, but it boosts vitality and mind. I'll take the brass gorget just in case. Oh, yes! No more side quests. We're going back to Aleport, baby. Have you guys noticed? Am I stupid? Playing this game for a long time, for a year, and I just noticed that up here it says wind. It gives you the weather condition. I feel like that's new, but maybe I'm silly. Ooh, Pepe. What do you have to say?
Ain't but one thing you need to succeed in life, and that's gumption. Had not a gill to my name when I started searching for shells to sell, but look at me now, got me own proper business, and I ain't had to gather shells myself in years.
Proud of you, Foo Poo Poo. What's your name? Foo Pepe? Foo Poo Poo. That's my next alt, Foo Poo Poo. Alright, Orwin. Collect your rewards.
Give it to me, baby.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. Alright, that's it. Got it. Perfect! Guys, it's time. We're going to do... It's probably Byron's. Oh. And a brass ring. Nice.
He's getting a tattoo, yeah. He's getting ink done. He asked for a 13, but they drew a 30. One friend say he's trying too hard, and he's not quite hip? It? I don't know. But in his own mind, he's that dopest trip.
Alright, let's speak to the seasoned adventurer. Ooh, she cute. Look at your little cute outfit. You must be the adventurer of whom the Yellow Jackets sent word. I hear you are to brave the depths of the Sasasha Sea Grot. The occupants of those caves are rumored to be as numerous as they are bloodthirsty. No matter what the epic tales would have you believe, strolling into such a den of savagery alone would be the height of foolishness. No, you shall need companions. You shall need the training we here at the Hall of the Novice can provide. I strongly suggest that you study the fundamentals of group combat before continuing on your mission. The smith here oversees the training schedules. Speak with him, and you can register for exercises tailored to your particular field of expertise. When you have mastered all that our masters have to teach, then it will be time to head north once more. Report to the Yellow Jacket Scout at the mouth of the Thathathigoth, and he will furnish you with the details of your duty. Hall of the Novice membership granted. Now we have a ton to read. You now have access to the Hall of the Novice. Designed especially for your chosen role, these solo exercises will teach you the ins and outs of party combat. You may access them at any time, either by selecting Hall of the Novice from the Duties section of the main menu, or by speaking with any of the smiths found in the Adventurers Guilds across Eorzea. Complete these exercises to receive a set of gear that will aid you on your journey. I am prepared for the Hall of the Novice. Alright. According to my records, you have yet to fully complete your training. You are under no obligation to finish the final exercise, of course, but there is much to gain and not to be lost in the attempt. I have great news. I have to do this. This is the side content character. One moment while I imbibe. Does imbibing imply alcohol? I don't drink. I was imbibing coffee. Does imbibe imply alcohol? I have a degree in writing. Upon completing these exercises, you will receive brand new gear for your chosen role, as well as the brand new ring, which increases experience earned by 30% until level 30. DPS Training Exercise 1, Avoiding Area of Effect Attacks. Let us begin. Hell yeah, duty registration. Let us proceed directly to the briefing. For this exercise, you'll be learning avoidance. An enemy often tips his hand before a big attack, and your best defense is to skip out of the way. You pass the exercise once I decide you've learned this lesson. Everything is clear, I trust? Say the word when you're ready to begin. Alright, talk to the Master of Arms. You're prepared to commence training, then? This training exercise is now underway. Watch your opponent carefully. When you see an attack coming, move out of the strike zone. You'll be facing me first. I won't hold back, so be quick on your blah blah blah. It's time I switch to a new technique. Better change your dance steps. Now it's my turn. I'll teach you not to ignore a ranged opponent. Can you tell I've done this a couple of times? Bravo! And thus concludes the exercise. Pray come and receive your reward. Nicely done. Learning to avoid the obvious attacks is a skill all adventurers need. Those who insist on standing still won't long survive the profession. And speaking of survival, perfecting each of my lessons will earn you a piece of armor to aid in your chosen role. Should you feel so inclined, repeat this same lesson with the other masters, that they might reward you with equipment tailored towards their fields of expertise. Here is your prize for completing the exercise, but remember, the real prize is the lesson you've learned. So I got some gloves. Alright, equip those gloves. And we are going to exercise 2, assist allies in defeating a target. Alright. When it comes to your place in a party, you are the sharp end of the spear. Simply put, your role is to inflict as much damage as possible while keeping your own skin intact. As such, you cannot just attack whichever enemy you please. If you strike a foe other than one controlled by your ally, then you risk becoming the target of deadly aggression. As you might have guessed, the purpose of this exercise is to teach cooperation. Your ally will hold the enemy's attention. It is your job to take the foe down. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy, and we can move on to the next training exercise. Okay, so there is something that's a little tiny bit incorrect about this particular training exercise, and it's that the tank is going to single target, and you will be expected to also single target the foe, and you have to, in this exercise, attack the same foe to win. However, whenever you're in a dungeon with a tank, they are definitely going to not want you to do that. So the tank should have their tank stance on, which will give them aggro, and they will area of effect attack a big group of enemies, so everything will automatically be aggroed to the tank. So in that case, you're gonna also want to area of effect or just hit whatever is hitting the tank the hardest at that time. So there is not necessarily a, like, single target type of pull that you're gonna have with the tank in a dungeon. Did you mark the sturdiness of your ally taking the enemy's hits? Coordinating efforts with the heavily armored defender will allow you to fight to your fullest. Here's your prize for completing the exercise, but remember, the real prize is the lesson you've learned. Got some boots. I hear they're made for walking.
And that's just what they do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Alright, we are going into exercise 3, which is defeating an occupied target, which is what we just did. Oh, put those away. For this exercise, you'll be fighting multiple opponents. The key to victory is coordination with your comrades. Each foe will fall all the swifter under a focused assault. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy, and we can move on to the next training exercise. Everything is clear, I trust. Say the word when you're ready to begin. So this is kind of what I was talking about on the last one. You're going to want to, for this particularly, you're going to want to attack all the same foe in order to pass the class. Yep. This is true, though. Always start with the magic user, especially if there's one that's called, like, Chirurgeon, or Chirurgeon, or healer, medicus, anything like that, you'll want to kill those first, because they'll continue healing the opponent. And now move to the DPS, because they're doing the most damage to your tank. Coordination is the key to conquering foes swiftly and safely. Work well with your allies, and the efficacy of your armor need not be tested. Here's your prize for completing the exercise, but remember, the real prize is the friends we made along the way. I didn't receive anything for that. Alright, avoiding engaged targets. And as tedious as this is, it is recommended to complete this, because that ring that you get is worth it, and it's good to have this gear going into Sastasha for the first time. And if it's your first time playing the game, it is very important information. Do you remember the lesson where I had you evading enemy attacks? This exercise will put that training to the test. You must needs plan your strikes around some fancy footwork. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy, and we can move on to the next training exercise. Let me in. Too high, I can't come down. Engage the axe wielder. Okay. Neatly done. Breaking off attacks to save your skin is always the wisest course. Though it may sometimes be a frustrating dance, it's better to dodge than be sprawled in the dust. Here's your prize for completing the exercise, but remember, the real prize is the cup of coffee you have waiting on your desk. Oh my god, are those my naked thighs? Oh! Scandalous. Oh my god. She's naked. Girl, put some pants on. We are now engaging enemy reinforcements. You also don't want to do this in a dungy. This exercise will teach you how to deal with enemy reinforcements. As the battle progresses, new foes will appear on the field. These sudden arrivals will target your weakest comrades, so you must be quick to eliminate them. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy, and we can move on to the next training exercise. Everything is clear, I trust. Say the word when you're ready to begin. Okay, so in the main, I guess lore, not lore, but like the gameplay of Final Fantasy, if an ad shows up while you're engaged with a mob, it's the job of the tank to go pick up the aggro on whatever has spawned in. If, for some reason, the tank doesn't make it and it aggroes to the healer, DPS can then take it off the healer. And what the DPS should do once they've taken aggro is run directly towards the tank so that the tank has an easier time just grabbing aggro from the new spawned enemy. And can take it off the healer and off of you, because the tank is always going to be the one that wants to defeat all of the mobs. Or hold aggro on all the mobs, rather. So generally, healers don't really do that much damage, so these guys, once you hit them, would have aggro to you, so you run them back over here to your tank, which would then AoE, area of effect attack, and grab that mob. A fine performance. Party is doomed without a source of restoration. When reinforcements threaten your healer, it is time to spring into action. Here is your prize for completing the exercise, but remember, the real prize is the Lalafell healer that is running way ahead. No gear on that one, that's fine. I didn't want gear. I'm not doing this for gear. Alright, interact with the battlefields. Here we go. I'm gonna get a brand new tabard for that. In this exercise, you'll learn to manipulate the battlefield. During the battle, enemies will pour forth from the rear gate. New foes will continue to flood in whilst this portal remains open. You must operate the lever that closes the gate, or your party will be overwhelmed. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy, and we can move on to the next blah 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 blah. Something I'm doing while we're in learning mode, something I'm doing that you might be noticing, and actually the tank should be doing this, is facing the boss. So what this means is when the tank pulls, it should be turning the boss to face away from the rest of the group so that the AoEs that come out are not targeting the rest of the group. And some bosses have what's called a cleave, which is a really wide attack that hurts a lot. And you never want that to be facing the party. So theoretically, the boss should be standing where I'm at, and I should be standing behind the boss trying to get attacks off from the back within melee range. And the Conjurer, in this scenario, with how we're positioned, is in a terrible spot. The Conjurer should also be on the back. So the only person in front of the boss's face should be the tank. It's imperative to recognize when a battle has turned against you. Act quickly to neutralize an enemy's advantage, or be prepared to suffer through a difficult fight. Here is your prize for completing the exercise, but remember, the real prize is spinning the boss. It doesn't want me to wear the... But I just got a nice new chest piece. It doesn't want me to wear it? Oh, no, it is worse. Let me just put it on. It's cute, though! Okay, goat skin. Okay. Final exercise! Here we go! We get the brand new ring for this one, which gives us that 30% bonus on our experience gain, which we definitely need, considering that we are over level 20, going into a level 15 dungeon. You've arrived at the mountain's peak! The final exercise. As the culmination of your training, all the skills you've acquired will be put to the test. Put your lessons into practice and you'll do just fine. Say the word when you're ready to begin. Oh, yeah, we're doing the avoid AoEs thing. In this situation, it's fine, but most of the time when you're fighting with a tank, you always want to let the tank run ahead of you. So theoretically, in a scenario, in the perfect scenario, it's going to be the tank and healer running up ahead, and then you're going to have the DPS behind the tank and healer. The healer is always going to be close to the tank because the tank is taking all of the damage within the dungeon. The DPS shouldn't really be getting hit. Thus concludes the exercise. You've proven yourself a novice no longer. Pray accept this prize to commemorate your achievement. We got the brand new ring, which is a pretty solid piece of gear, and, all I wanted. And now, it's time. We are headed toward Sastasha. I can't believe it. Oh, and look, it's my friends. Surely nothing will happen to these four. Alright, get your peace signs up. It's time for a thumbnail. Fantastic! We've got our thumbnail, and it's time to talk to Yellow Jacket! I'm so excited! Please tell me you're here on Yellow Jacket duty and not some daft sod out for a stroll. I can't take any more of this blasted waiting. You are? Thank the gods. Assume you already know about the ship seen slipping around the Isles of Umbra? We've been on the lookout for pirate activity ever since that vessel was sighted, thinking a crew of cutthroats might have a den nearby. So when we received word that men of questionable quality had been seen passing in and out of Sastasha here, we weren't entirely surprised. I've yet to see them for myself, but if this lot belongs to those fishback fancying serpent reavers, well, you can imagine the panic it'll cause. The kidnappings are still fresh in people's minds. Anyway, your task is to poke around in the caves and find out exactly who we're dealing with. While you do that, I'll be keeping watch out here, praying you don't spot any blue face tattoos. Duty support is unlocked. Sastasha is now accessible. Woo! Hey, pirate, you're going into a dungeon. I think I read this with Ludwig, so I am going to not read it, but if I didn't, I'm sorry. Alright, so before we enter Sastasha, this is officially the ending point for the first landmark of the challenge. So, I'm going to end this episode right here before Sastasha. And next episode is going to be a comparison. I might actually just upload that, like, midweek, and then the following week we'll do Sastasha. Yeah, that sounds right. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. It has been a killer episode, and I will see you all the next time that we play Final Fantasy XIV. Bye.